Hey everybody, I just wanted to pop in at the beginning real quick and let you all know, give you a warning that this episode does contain smut. Usually I just put the content warning on text at the bottom of the screen, but I thought that this is a little more, kind of so I figured I'd give a verbal warning today. So yeah. I'll give the timestamps in between on screen right now, so you'll know when to skip ahead if you want to. It's not crucial to the story or anything, so yeah. Thank you all, or I don't know. Thanks for watching. Thanks for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoy. Yeah. Hello my darlings, welcome back to another video. Today we are on part 4 of Friends by Clothebrotato. We are on chapter 9 today, and as you remember in the last episode, Viv and Zim went to prom, and it was super cute, super romantic, but unfortunately, as we found, Keith is a jealous half Irkin, and as Dib and Zim were dancing, he removed Zim's pack, and so possibly a murder attempt. Kind of had me shook, and I'm kind of scared to move on. But today is a very special episode of reading ZADR fanfiction because I am in a few galaxies away from where I usually reside, and I'm actually with my bestie right now for a short amount of time. And she's gonna be here helping us, helping me, I suppose, read the fanfiction.
Hola, soy Dora. No, I'm not Dora.
No, don't say your name.
Oh, never mind. I am Dora. So I'm gonna be reading this one chapter of a fanfiction. So yeah. Keith! Why did you do that? Dib yells, stepping over Zim. He reaches over for Zim's pack, but Keith holds it out of Dib's grasp. When I return this to Zim, I'll tell him you took it off and I rescued him. He'll be my friend and only my friend. Keith pushes Dib away and walks over to Zim. At this point, everyone is watching this. A girl from Dib's Spanish class helps Dib up. Dib looks over at Keith, then Zim's pack. Dib lunges at him, pushing him to the ground. Some kids start yelling, "Fight, fight, fight!" and everyone walks over to watch. "He doesn't like you! He won't ever like you! Get it in your stupid brain!" Dib yells. Keith punches him in the face. Dib doesn't move. He's used to getting punched. Zim punched him a lot, and Keith was surprisingly weak. "You're wrong! He does like me! He's using you! He's using you! He chose me as his friend. I passed that test." Keith yells back. He's acting like a 5-year-old. Dib looks at Zim's pack, which was laying on the ground next to him. He looks back at Keith, who is trying to reach for it, and punches him in the nose. He made a cracking noise and blood poured out of his right nostril. How? How is he using me? Dib pushes Keith's head to the ground. He laughs. "All your fighting, don't you remember? You guys beat the shit out of each other, and now you're just friends." Keith laughs. Dib felt a tear in the corner of his eye. He blinks it away and starts pulling on Keith's hair. He looks over at Zim. Zim sat up and looked around. He saw a number in the corner of his eye. 850. He realized that his pack was taken off. He looked over at Dib, who was on top of Keith. Dib looks relieved that Zim is up and looks back at Keith, punching him in the face. Zim reaches over and grabs his pack. It leeches onto him. He situates himself and stands up. He pushes Dib off Keith. Keith sits up and looks at Zim. Blood was dripping down his nose. "Zim, get away from him! He took your pack off!" Keith says, taking hold of Zim's hand. Zim looks over at Dib. "Fuck off, Keith. Taking off my life support for what? To make Dib look back? To almost ruin my night? Listen here, I don't care if you're half Irkin." Zim takes a step towards Keith. "I don't care if you're supposed to be with me. You look like a fucking loser right now." Keith looks around at everyone. They're laughing at him and making fun of him. Keith looks at Zim. I didn't mean to. Ugh! Keith storms off. The crowd turns away and starts to get things back to normal. Dib looks over at Zim. We should head home. I'd rather not be here right now. Dib rubs the back of his neck. Not yet. He haven't gone completely wasted yet. Zim opens up his pack and pulls out a bottle of vodka. How did you get that? Dib asks, taking it from him. My tallest. Anyway, let's go hide in the bathroom or something and drink it. Zim grabs Dib's hand and they walk into the bathroom together. They go into the big stall and close and lock the door. I've actually never drank alcohol before, Dib says, screwing the cap off the bottle. He takes a sniff and pulls his head back and gags. It doesn't even smell bad, Zim says, taking it from Dib. He takes a few gulps of it. He acts like nothing is wrong, but on the inside, he wants to scream due to the burning pain. Dib takes a sip and immediately spits it out. Ugh, gross. I don't want it. Dib screws the cap back on and hands it to Zim. Zim puts it away and pulls out his card. I ran out of prom lines. I guess we could go home, go to the store and get a lighter, drink. All the prom movies I watch have people get wasted. This needs to happen, right? Zim asks. Dib looks at him. Maybe a lighter drink wouldn't be as bad. Fine, but you're paying, Dib says. He opens the stall door and sees a group of boys. They're all crowded around the sink, helping someone. It's okay, Keith. You have us. We're your friends, one of the taller boys says. Keith pats him on the shoulder. Thanks, He sees Dib, then Zim. His face fills with anger. One of his friends grabs his arm, holding him back. We should probably leave, Dib says, grabbing Zim's hand and walking out the bathroom. They hear shouting behind them. Most likely Keith's friends, keeping him from getting to another fight. Dib and Zim leave the school and make their way into a nearby gas station. They walk inside and grab a 12-pack of beer. They go up to the cashier and hand her the beer. She looks about 18 to 19. She looks at them and scans the item. I know you're definitely underage. I am too. That's why I'm taking one from your pack. Don't drink and drive. The cashier opens the package and takes the can out. Okay. Dib hands her the money and they walk to Dib's house. They crawl through Dib's window and take a beer. Dib takes a sip. It's not horrible. He continues to drink it. Zim finishes his and sets it down next to him. So that was crazy, Zim says. He looks around. Do you have something I can change into? This is super uncomfortable. Zim pulls at the collar of his shirt. Dib nods and walks over to his dresser. He pulls out one of his shirts and hands it to Zim. Zim takes it and takes off his shirt. Dib blushes and looks the other way. Zim puts it on and takes off the skirt part of his outfit. He had some shorts on that were comfortable, so he left it on. Dib decided that he should change too. He finds something comfy and puts it on. After an hour, they finished the pack and were laying down and drunkenly laughing. Stupid fights they had. Zim laughs that he remembers a fight they had a few weeks ago before they became friends. Do you remember that one fight we had where I ran away because of problems? Zim puts his hand on Dib's chest. Yeah. What was the problem, by the way? You never told me, Dib asks. Zim sits up. Never told you because it was embarrassing. Zim blushes. Dib sits up as well. We're friends now. You can tell me. I won't tell anyone else. Mostly because I have no other friends. Dib turns to face him. Okay. Well.
That was actually amazing. It usually takes me an hour to read a chapter.
I know some parts, so I kind of messed up. I was like,
Well, thank God we had you read chapter 10, because now we're on chapter 11. This chapter contains smut. This book has not had smut this whole time. Well, I don't know if humans have the same reaction to things as Urkins, but you accidentally grabbed a little too far up my thigh. After that, you pinned me down to stop me and you pressed up against my area, and I couldn't control myself. Zim covers his face. Dib stares at him. So you're saying I made you aroused? Dib asks, scooting closer. If that's what you stupid humans call it, then yeah, it's something that doesn't really happen often. Zim puts his hands on Dib's. Humans get aroused a lot, especially when you're going through puberty. Let me tell you, it's not fun trying to present with a no-reason boner. Dib laughs. Zim looks over Dib and rolls his eyes. A what? Zim laughs. Never mind. You know, I didn't know you had anything down there until now. I'm a little curious. Dib puts his hand on Zim's thigh. I regret skipping health class. I wouldn't know what to do right now. Zim blushes. Do you want to go further? Dib asks, pulling his hand away from Zim. Zim stares at him. He would feel really bad if they went further and Dib didn't feel the same way. Dib. Zim grabs Dib's face. I really like you. And I started feeling a certain way about you. So before we go on, I want to know if you feel the same way. Dib practically melts. He leans in towards Zim and kisses him. Zim kisses him back. It was a soft kiss. They could taste the alcohol in each other's mouths. Zim pulled back first. I've literally liked you for such the longest time. I'm really glad you feel the same way. Dib smiles. Dib walks over to his door and makes sure it's locked. He walks back over to Zim. I need to make sure you're 100% okay with what we're about to do. Dib cups Zim's face. Let's do it, Zim replies. Zim pulls Dib into a kiss. Dib was a bit surprised, but melted into Zim's warmth. Dib slides his hand up Zim's skirt. Zim's skin is smooth and soft. It was comforting. Zim pulls Dib's shirt off and tosses it across the room. It catches on the doorknob. Dib takes off Zim's shirt in return. He throws it behind him. He looks at Zim's body. He looked skinny with his clothes on, but surprisingly, Zim had a slight chub on his stomach. Even more surprising was Zim's 3 nipples. Wow. Dib runs his hand down Zim's chest. He gets to his waist. Zim jerks his waist back, letting out a small laugh. Don't tickle me, he blushes. How ticklish are you? Dib takes Zim's wig off and grabs the base of his antenna. Zim starts laughing. Dib moves his hands up from Zim's antenna and his laughter fades. He starts to breathe heavily and lets out a soft moan. Dib pulls his hand back. Does that hurt? He asks. Zim shakes his head. No. The further up you go my antenna, the more sensitive it is, Zim explains. Dib nods. Zim takes his contacts out and set them on the nightstand next to them. Do you mind? Dib points at Zim's shorts. Zim blushes and looks down. You first. Zim watches Dib nod and unbuckles his pants. He pulls them down, and now he's in his underwear. Now you. Dib looks up at Zim. No, all the way. I only have 1 layer left. It's only fair. Zim looks up at Dib. I'm not even hard yet, but okay. Dib shakily starts to pull down his underwear. He takes them off and stands in front of Zim. He feels embarrassed to be exposed like this. Dib was normal-sized, but Zim didn't know that and thought he was huge. Zim reaches out and slides his hands down Dib's sex lines, which are barely noticeable. Dib moans softly and covers his face. Okay, now show me what you have, Dib demands. Zim pulls off his shorts. Dib stares at him confused. Wait, you have a vagina? Dib asks. Zim shoots him a confused glance. It hasn't come out yet. I need to get hard like you. Zim points at Dib's limp dick. Okay, that actually makes a little sense. Dib shrugs. Zim pulls Dib into another kiss. It's much more violent. Dib grabs the tip of Zim's antenna. Zim moans and runs his hand down Dib's back and grabs his thigh. Dib starts to get hard. Zim pulls him back. This might take a second, Zim says as he puts a finger into his slit. He feels around for a bit and a worm-like dick retracts out. Zim stares at it in awe. I want to draw that so bad, but I'm too turned on to do anything. Dib pins Zim down. Zim pushes him off and gets on top of Dib. The smaller Irkin doesn't usually dominate, but I'm not your usual Irkin. Zim kisses Dib again. He reaches down and pulls on Dib's dick. Dib yelps in pain. No, like this! Dib grabs Zim's hand and slowly guides him. Sorry, I've never done this before. Zim apologizes. No, it's fine. I've never done it either. Dib pulls Zim back into a kiss. Dib grabs Zim's dick. It's already wet. He can easily slide his hand across it. Dib bites his lip. Zim was really good at this. Zim's dick wraps around Dib's. Dib was shocked that he could do that. Zim pulls back and spreads Dib's legs. He places his dick in front of Dib's butt. Are you ready? Zim asks. Dib nods, and Zim thrusts into him. Dib moans loudly and covers his mouth. He didn't want Gaz or his dad to hear them. Zim sits there for a second. Dib was super tight. Are you okay? Zim asks. Dib nods. Zim starts to move. Dib bites back another loud moan. He leans forward a bit and grabs Zim's back. Zim bites Dib's neck and sucks on his skin. He does this in multiple places. He left teeth marks in one. Dib moans and digs his nails into Zim's back. Zim pulls out and looks at Dib. Your turn. Zim lays down on his back and spreads his legs. Dib opens his nightstand drawer and grabs a small bottle of lube. He squirts it on his dick and rubs it over. He puts the lube back and gets into position. Are you ready this time? Dib asks. Just put it in me, Zim demands. Dib nods and thrusts into Zim. Zim moans and wraps his arms around Dib. Dib decides to do what Zim did to him. He leans down and sucks on Zim's neck. Dib pulls out and comes onto Zim's stomach. Zim was still hard though. Dib decides to get on top of Zim and sits on his dick. He bounces up and down. Zim digs his claw-like nails into Dib. The pressure builds inside of Zim until he releases it all. He moans and drags his nails down Dib's back. Dib stays on Zim until he finishes. Wow, Erkin's come a lot, Dib says, laying down next to Zim. They're both panting and sweating. After laying there for a bit, Dib grabs some tissues and cleans up. Dib lays back down and puts his arm around Zim. Dib rests his hand on Zim's pack. I'm glad my first time mating was with you. Zim nuzzles his head onto Dib's neck. I'm gonna pretend you said having sex, Dib says. They laid in each other's arms until both of them fell asleep. Which wasn't very long because it was almost 1 a.m. Son, breakfast is ready, Membrane says from outside Dib's room. Both of them were fast asleep. Membrane waits for a bit and tries to open the door. It was locked. He sighs and grabs the keys from above the door. He unlocks the door and walks inside. He sees clothes scattered around. He assumes it's been a while since Dib cleaned up. He turns on the lights and walks over to Dib's bed and shakes him. Son, you need to wake up, Membrane says. Dib opens his eyes slightly and sits up. His head was pounding, and his waist hurt. Dad, what time is it? Dib rubs his eyes. Membrane notices the hickeys on Dib's neck. Membrane stares at him. Ugh, Dib, turn the lights off, Zim mumbles under the covers. Dib freezes, remembering what happened last night. Zim sits up and looks around. He sees Membrane and ducks back under the covers. I'll give you a minute. Membrane walks out, embarrassed. Shit, Dib says. He rubbed his eyes. Well, at least he didn't get mad at you. Dib finds his shorts and put them on. Yeah, let's just get something to eat and some pain meds. Dib gets out of bed and winces. Was I too rough? Zim hands Dib his underwear. He puts them on. No. Well, I'm not sure. Dib puts on some comfy pants. Well, let's just get something to eat. Zim grabs Dib, and they slowly walk into the kitchen, Dib limping most of the way. Good morning, Membrane greets. He looks at Dib. Son? Dib limps over to him. Membrane points at his neck. What's wrong with my neck? Dib feels at his neck. Membrane shakes his head and hands Dib a plate of toast with 2 painkillers. How was prom? He asks. Dib takes a bite of his toast. Zim's stalker attacked me and tried to kill Zim. Then we came home and went straight to bed. Dib skips over part of the story. Gaz walks into the kitchen and fake gags. Hey, Bottom, you were so loud, I barely got any sleep. She pokes Dib's back and grabs a bowl from the cabinet. Zim laughs, and Dib blushes. Membrane turns to Zim. Are you gonna take off that costume? Membrane asks. Zim feels the top of his head. I'm not... Oh. Zim forgot to put his disguise back on. Dad, it's not a costume. Dib grumbles. Membrane rolls his eyes. Chapter 12. Son, please don't do this so early in the morning. Membrane pinches the bridge of his nose. Dad, I'm not... Dib starts, before Zim shuts him up with a kiss. Dib blushes and covers his mouth. Mr. Dib's dad thing? My name is Zim. I'm an alien from the planet Urk. Zim holds his hand out to Membrane. Don't worry, I'm no longer trying to take over the Earth. Son, please don't. Membrane pushes Zim's hand away. Zim grabs his arm. Listen, human, I'm not messing around. Dib spits. The only thing he's messing around with is Dib, Gaz adds. Dib walks over to Zim and pulls him back a bit. Dad, would a normal human being have a real antenna? Dib points at Zim's head. Zim moves his antenna up and down. I guess that's a little weird, but... And would one only have 3 clawed fingers and 2 toes? Zim holds up Dib's hand. That could just... Dad, would an alien have his alien leaders on speed dial? Dib opens up Zim's pack and reaches in. He pulls out the bottle of vodka from last night. He sets it aside and pulls out a box of animal crackers. Dib bumps a wire, and Zim's face turns purple. Dib, quit it! My phone is upstairs. And you're touching certain wires that I don't want to be touched in public. Anyways, they're at my house, where most of my tech is. We could just go there. Dib pulls Dib's hand out of his pack. He starts to walk upstairs to get into appropriate clothing. Was I touching a vital wire? Dib asks, following Zim. Zim pulls Dib close to him. No, you were touching a wire that triggers pleasure, Zim whispers and pushes him away. His face gets more flustered. Sorry, Dib apologizes. Zim rolls his eyes and brings him upstairs. You're so stupid, he says, walking into Dib's room. I don't think I can... You know, Dib says. What? Dib, you're really stupid. Zim grabs one of Dib's old hoodies and puts it on. Dib mentally slaps himself and gets dressed. Once everyone was ready, they got into Membrane's car and they drove to Zim's house. They could have walked there, but Dib really didn't feel like experiencing pain for 5 minutes. Once they get there, Zim opens the door to his house. The Tallists were asleep on top of each other. Steven Universe was playing on the TV. My Tallists! Zim shakes them awake. Huh? Zim? Red sits its head up. Zim, you're banished to your room. We want to sleep. Purple points in the direction of Zim's room. You are not in control of me. Also, we have guests over. Zim presents Dib and Membrane. Membrane walks over to them and stares. Is he just gonna stare, or... Purple whispers to Red. He shrugs. Son, he says, looking at the aliens before him. I'm sorry I ever doubted you. Dib feels tears in his eyes. He wipes them away and hugs his dad. Wait, Zim, did you out us? Red slaps Dib's head. You're the only ones lying around and doing nothing. I'm surprised you lasted this long. Dib resorts. Red flips him off and lays back down. Membrane lets go of Dib and returns to Zim. So, little alien, would you mind showing me around your base? He gets down to Zim's level. Sure, but I haven't used most of my lab in a long time. Zib walks into the kitchen. He opens up the trash can. I'm not sure if I can fit in there, Membrane says, looking at the tiny trash can. Dad, you just stand there. I've broken in so many times I know how to get in with a lot of space. Dib motions for his dad to stand next to the toilet. Dib stands on top of the sleets and flushes. The ground opens up and they descend down.
Gay, it says aloud.
Zim looks down
Its
at
back
them.
opens and confetti shoots
How
out.
did you figure that out? He shouts down. Dib didn't hear him. Zim rolls his eyes and jumps down into the trash can. When Zim steps into his lab, he sees Membrane looking at his failed experiment pile. Amazing. I've never seen things like this before. He picks up an object and presses the button. The thing starts to vibrate and then explodes. Those don't work. Zim pushes Membrane away from the pile. Well, what works in here? Membrane excitedly looks around. Well, this works. Zim picks up a small device. It looks like a cartoon spider that was made 3D. It crawls around in his hand and scans Dib. Gay, it says aloud.
What? Dib shouts, his face burning. It calls everyone gay. It's funny. Laugh, Zim shouts back. Dib covers his face. Membrane looks over at Zim's huge computer. Amazing. I've never seen a computer this big. Membrane touches one of the keys to the keyboard. All the letters were in Urkin. The screen lights up. I was sleeping. What do you want me to search up? Computer asks. Incredible. A talking computer. Membrane laughs. Computer, show me things that I made that work, or whatever. Zim instructs. A mechanical arm pushes in a pile of things. Here. Computer shouts down again. The screen goes dark. Zim walks over to the pile and starts pulling out anything interesting. Everything in here should work. They're mostly weapons I used or things to take over the planet, Zim explains. Dib walks over and starts looking through the pile. He shows them guns and bombs he made, then enhancements to human technology, like a camera that can zoom in 1,000 times more. After about an hour of just talking, Dib covers Zim's mouth. We should get lunch, or just anything. As much as I want to hear you go on about alien tech, I'm hungry, Dib cries. Zim rolls his eyes and scoffs. Stupid humans and their constant need to eat. Zim pushes Dib back a little. Well, my son isn't wrong. Membrane pats Dib's shoulder. Ugh, fine. Zim puts the device he was presenting down. Membrane looks at his watch. Oh, I've got work today. I'll see you and your boyfriend later. Membrane waves to them. Boyfriend? Dib yelps. And that is it for this episode. At the beginning of this episode, I hoped you all, first of all, had an amazing time meeting my best friend. It's been a few days later, and something went wrong with the recording at the very end, so the last part of the chapter and our outro was cut out. I'm sorry, you can't say goodbye to her, but leave her nice comments in the comments and I'll show them off. I'll show you off to her. Y'all might probably enjoy, honestly. Unfortunately, I'm still having problems with recording and editing. Well, the editing isn't the big problem. It's mainly exporting and now recording. Half the time when I record, they don't save. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong. But, yeah, so if this episode takes forever to get out too, I'm sorry. I'm just assuming the problem will fix itself. And yeah. So, on the next chapter, we will have, I'm thinking the finale is what I'm thinking, because there's 5 more chapters left, I believe, and maybe 4, and I just think it'd be an odd number to end on, you know, like doing 3 now but like 2 later, you know what I mean, or just having like 1 chapter to do at the very end. It doesn't make sense to me. So I think we'll have the ending be one big, like a bigger episode, and have that be the end. So yeah, so I guess if you're excited for the finale, that's probably not going to come out until like September. Give this video a like. Don't forget to love yourself, because I love you, and pray to your gods or to the universe for my technology issues to be fixed. Thank you guys so much. I love you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.
What are you doing?
No, no. This is Invader Zim.
What the fuck is that?
You don't know what Invader Zim?
No. Girl, I'm kind of uncultured, okay? I'm sorry.
Let me show you then.
Oh, here we go. 72
you know
minutes.
what it is.
No, I don't. No.
You don't know what this is?
I never
It's
watched
like my
it.
number one thing.
I've
on
seen
my
a few memes,
show.
but that's it. I've never watched it.
Okay, so how do you want to do this? Like, you just start reading it. I'll do the introduction and you can read it.
Like the whole thing? Or
Like a chapter, because I do 3 at a time.
Oh, okay, so you want me to read a whole chapter?
I'll edit it out. I'll edit it to make it good.
Okay, because I don't really like my voice.
Okay, then like make it fake then, bitch.
Ugh. But I don't even know what they sound like. What if I fucking up?
Oh, just read it. Just read it. I just read it in my
Okay.
normal voice.
Ooh. Okay. So.
Okay.
From.
Okay. Okay, it's fine. Zim and Dib were at prom, and then. Sorry.
I never really heard you talk like that, so I'm like. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll just cover my face with the horror.
I'm never gonna get through this.
Sorry. Just don't pay attention to me. I'm not here.
In the last episode, Dim and Zib.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'll cover my ears.
No, it's me now. I know it's me too. In the last episode, Dib and Zim were at prom.
I think I have to leave the room for a minute.
Okay,
God, I feel like I'm falling off the fucking bed now. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, Jesus.
You want me to call you back in after I've done the intro?
I'll take that drink with me real quick. Okay.
It'll take like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I gotta prepare myself. Okay, I'll be right back.
Prepare yourself for real.
Okay.
Hey. I forgot.
You should make a video of the bloopers.
There's a lot of bloopers, dude. I forgot to change it to the next.
And we're on a
thing.
time schedule because I don't. I'm so.
Okay, now we go.
Okay. So now we are on the right chapter.
Chapter 10. I'm sorry, guys. We're on chapter 10 the whole time.
So we are on chapter 10 now. Okay. Keith! What did... Oh, fuck. I fucked up. Fucking hell. I can't read for shit. Hang on. I gotta... Where my eyes... Actually, no. I think I need to get my glasses really quick. A few days had passed, and it was now the day of prom. Zim was asked by a few people, surprisingly.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Is this the wrong one?
Dib puts his hands on Zim's side.
It's getting hot.
This is gonna be like an hour-long recording.
Oh, man. I wish I knew where my fan was so I just go... It's under my bed somewhere.
You know, I was just starting to calm down.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Some weird comforting thing you never... Okay.
I'm gonna part.
Girl! Read it! I'm giving you to it! Read it!
This is my process.
We're talking about
This is my process.
Shut the fuck! I'm reading porn! I'm reading alien porn! Fucking piece of shit!
Dib crabs. Did I tell you that one time?
You gotta finish reading before the children come back home because we don't know if they're actually
You're right.
gone or not.
You're right. tell you later.
Okay.
He switches from kissing Zim and sucking on his neck. I don't want to read this.
Do you want me to read it?
If you can just go,
I don't know how good my moans are, and I don't want... Okay, fine, jeez.
No, wait, I'll cue you. Get ready. He switches from kissing Zim and sucking on his neck until...
It's so bad.
No, it's perfect. Actually, maybe do it like, actually, like...
Like, okay, what kind of moan?
Like a I came inside of you kind of moan. Like from a man.
I don't know.